Hey guys, Pauline here. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about a topic that has been on my mind for a really long time now, and it's actually the reason why I've made a lot of changes in my outlook and how I approach things when it comes to wellness these days. And it's this idea of, is wellness actually making you unwell? I know, it's ironic, right? But I really do think that it's kind of gone overboard, and I personally started to become super overwhelmed with it. So I just wanted to discuss, and if you are feeling overwhelmed and kind of feeling like you're becoming unwell with wellness, then stay tuned for this video because I want to go into 5 or 6 main points that'll really help you out in changing your viewpoint and how you approach wellness. Okay, so one of the first things that I've felt within this wellness space is the wellness overload. And I know that you can agree on this too. Right now, wellness is everywhere. It's almost like there's a new superfood to get, and there's a new product or supplement to try, and information is everywhere. There's conflicting information. So how did we get here from wellness kind of making you unwell? Well, one is the overload. So even though there's a lot of information on the internet, there's a lot of conflicting information as well. And it's almost like every single day we find out something new. One day colostrum is good, one day it's not so great. One day the supplement is great, one day it's not so great. It's like every single day there's conflicting information, there's new information, there's new supplements, there's new products, and there's new ways of doing things. Although I'm very happy that the wellness niche is more mainstream these days and that there is information, I'm very grateful that we're able to do our own research, look things up. That's amazing. But when there is so much information, we tend to have an information overload, and it actually makes us feel like things are much more complicated than it needs to be, and then we start getting overwhelmed. So that is one of the main things that I felt, and I'm sure you guys have felt that as well, where you feel like there's way too much information that we're being bombarded with, especially if you are active on social media or if you're active in the wellness space or you're seeking that type of information. What can help you is if you kind of plug out of that a little bit. So you could do your own research and see what works for you and to do it the trial and error method, which I personally have been doing. And you can also take information with a grain of salt. So you don't have to immediately buy the new next supplement or the new superfood. You don't have to immediately jump on the, I guess, bandwagon of the latest trend. You can kind of, choose to try things out, choose to not try other things out. You don't have to feel the need to participate in every little thing, because that is unhealthy and you're going to get overwhelmed and it won't help you out in the long run. And a lot of times, if you're just doing things just because it's in or because some person told you, you can't, it might not be what works best for you. So it's not, wellness isn't a one size fits all approach. My best advice would be to just do a little bit of trial and error, try things out, see how your body feels, and you can always pivot and switch, but you don't have to always be following what is currently in at the time. Okay, this one is huge. This one is this idea of the pursuit of perfection and wellness. I don't know how it got here, but it's almost like wellness has gone from just feeling good and feeling balanced to this pursuit of perfection. The perfect routine, the perfect supplement, the perfect lifestyle, the perfect I don't know, like the perfect everything. And it's almost like we need to make sure all the labels of every product is checked. It's like overwhelming and it's a lot. And I feel like we've kind of forgotten what the main purpose of wellness is, and it's for you to feel good. It's for you to feel balanced, for you to feel good, for you to feel optimal, so then you can go on with your life and do great things. And the downside of that, when you are trying to chase perfection, no one is perfect, no one has the perfect routine, you can get discouraged. And when you start feeling discouraged, you're getting upset and you're not motivated to actually work on yourself anymore because you feel like you're not getting anywhere and it's not good enough. And this is actually very unhealthy, and that's why I joke and say that is wellness starting to make you unwell, because if you go too overboard with it, this is what can happen. You can have feelings of feeling like you are not good enough, or you're not doing enough, or you don't have the perfect routine down. And honestly, I felt this too, which is why like this year I've really worked on finding my balance and seeing what works for me, because trust me, I know the stress of even with items, right? Like flipping it over and looking at the label and making sure every little thing is clean. And unfortunately, in today's modern world, especially in the major cities, it's really hard to kind of get everything perfect. So it's all more about balance and what works for you and what works best for your body, because everyone's body is different. And also with wellness routines, it doesn't have to be you have the perfect, skincare routine or the perfect fitness routine. Wellness is supposed to be about making yourself feel good. It's not about perfection. And so if you continue on striving for perfection, then you're gonna have burnout and you're just gonna maybe give up. With this one, I would say there's no perfect diet, there's no perfect skincare routine, there's no perfect fitness routine. It's just more about what works for you and for you to try different things out and see what works best, because again, it's not a one size fits all, and perfection does not exist. And this pressure of having the perfect clean diet is actually very stressful. To be like, oh my god, like it has to be 100% grass-fed, this, all the time, every single day. Like, I mean, you can do whatever you want, whatever lifestyle that you choose for yourself. But what I'm trying to say is that let go of the perfection, you can have fun once in a while. It's more about balance, because I believe balance is way more healthier than trying to pursue perfection with wellness, because the stress of being like, oh my god, these fries are not good for me, they're cooked in canola oil, and you're at a restaurant and you're trying to have fun. It's like, like with balance, I'm not saying you can have that every day. I mean, unless you want to, that's a personal choice, but it's more about you can't be perfect all the time. So let go of the pressure, drop the perfectionism, and just take a step back, chill out, and be like, okay, what do I want to do? What can I do? What is too much? And in which areas am I going way too overboard? And something else that I feel like has contributed to this wellness making you unwell vibe is this idea of the wellness consumption, like it's overconsumption. We are constantly being bombarded with different wellness gadgets, $500 infrared mats and grounding things and this and that and everything. And it's great that we have these options, that they are out there, and we are free to buy it if we want to, try it out if we want to, or just ignore it if we don't want it. But I do feel like especially younger people in the wellness niche, they feel the pressure to try out every single new item, every single new supplement, and prices are high, and I understand that, especially in today's economy, and you shouldn't feel the need or have the expectation on you that you have to try out every new gadget, and oftentimes you might not even need it. I think we've forgotten about this idea of splurges and privileges. Like, technically, do we need a red light in our house? Not really. I mean, if you go and get morning sunlight, that should be good enough. Now, if you want to do the extra mile and you want to splurge on yourself, by all means, go do that. But if, say, you don't have the budget right now, or if you don't have the space for it, or if you don't have the means for it, then you shouldn't feel like you're less than or that you're falling behind. It's totally okay to do the free and simple things like going on walks, drinking good water, getting a good night's sleep, laughing, having good whole foods, and living your best life. It's not always about the latest gadgets, the latest product, and all of that. Now, I do believe in certain types of supplementation. Do I believe in these $100 supplements with filler ingredients? Lately, not really. I kind of am trying to stay away from that as much as possible. I'm more diving into the herbal side of things, and even that, it's like you even take that with a grain of salt, and there's like a way to do it, and whichever herbs and doses work for your body, because that is this whole other can of worms. It shouldn't be so expensive is my point. It shouldn't be so complicated, and you shouldn't feel the need to, you know, get this huge sauna, like $3,000 sauna, and put in your house if like you don't have the means for it. Now, if you do have the means for it, by all means go ahead. See, it's like a luxury. It's like you're splurging, because I mean, technically a sauna is like you can run and sweat, or you can do some like cardio exercise and you can sweat, and you can like work out outside as well. So, you know, I would say just take the pressure off of that. You don't need to have, if you are one of those people that like to overconsume, you don't have to order that next new thing. You really don't need it. Now, if you want it, go ahead. And if you have the financial means for it, why not? Or if you're curious and you want to try it out. But do not feel the pressure like you have to, or you're less than, if you don't have the latest wellness gadgets and goods and all of that. Another important part of the wellness space is exercise. You know, exercise is great, exercise is amazing, it's really good for your body. But when you overdo it, like with everything else, it can become unhealthy, it can be obsessive, and it could be unhealthy for you, and it could also cause you more stress and damage in the long run. With exercise, I would say you don't have to do exercise in the, I guess, mainstream way of it if that doesn't, if that doesn't make you happy, if you don't enjoy it. For example, the gym, it's not for everyone. You don't have to go to the gym. Or Pilates, it's not for everyone either. I know it's really in right now, but if you don't like it, or if you don't like group classes, you don't have to partake in it. Exercise can be anything. You can go on 5-mile walks, you can go biking, you can do dance, you can do hip-hop classes, you can do anything. It's just more about moving your body. You can jump up and down, you can do any of that. So exercise is just whatever kind of moves your body, moves your joints, and is good for you, and it makes you happy. So don't feel the need to be a gym girl or a Pilates princess or whatever and in between. I encourage you to try different things out, because like I've tried different things out, and I continue to try different forms of exercise out, and I like to see what works for me and what goes with my body best and what my personal preferences are. Now, even within any type of exercise, my main point that I want to stress is to not forget about resting. So don't overdo it. Especially females, do not overdo exercise, because it can throw off your hormonal cycle and your hormones. It's like a whole other, thing to talk about, but don't overdo it. Just work on being balanced. So for example, during the week, if I would say, let's say you go to the gym, 3 times is good, 3 or 4 times is good, but it honestly kind of depends on you, and it also depends on where you are in your cycle, and so you should also keep that in mind. Maybe don't exercise really, really heavily right before your menstrual cycle or on your menstrual cycle. Like, lay low a little bit, go on walks, do more chill things. Movement is more about making you energized. It shouldn't be something that you dread, but it also shouldn't be something you feel really guilty about missing. You should have more of a healthier relationship with exercise, and it's there when you need it, but it's also, understanding when you don't need it. The last, I guess, point that I think contributes to this idea of is wellness making you unwell is this idea of, basically, it's restrictive diets under the guise of wellness. And what I mean by this is that every single day there's something new. It's like, oh, like low carb, carnivore diet, vegetarian, vegan, or it's like gluten-free, dairy-free, and there's all these types of restrictive diets, and it's good. You know, it's fine that they're out there because it might work for certain people, but it might not work for everyone. Like I said, it's not one size fits all, but there's this pressure of these restrictive diets, and we tend to kind of follow what everyone else is doing and what is working for everybody else's body. Personally, today I feel like a lot of these wellness trends are just diet culture in disguise. There's a lot of information and encouragement out there about cutting out or restricting certain food groups. Not so healthy to restrict all the time. I've personally experienced this when I, did a very restrictive food group diet where I wasn't consuming from certain food groups, and I was also doing like detoxes, crazy detoxes. Well, I come to find out that can create a lot of nutritional deficiencies in you, which, throws everything else off because you need those nutrients, you need those minerals. So it's like going overboard is not great because now I have to backtrack and, focus more on the minerals and the nutrients that I'm currently missing. Wellness overall should be about nourishing your body and not depriving it. The goal with wellness is for you to feel well. And if your diet is not making you feel good, then don't follow it, even though everyone and their mom is gluten-free and dairy-free. But it's like, what if you're consuming raw dairy and it sits well with you and you're doing great on it and there's a bunch of minerals and vitamins in it, right? Or it's like maybe gluten isn't affecting you because you're having, I don't know, Italian bread or something like that. So it's not, a one-size-fits-all, because overly restricting yourself can restrict you from certain minerals and vitamins that your body needs to really thrive, and it doesn't work for everyone, and everyone's body and gut is completely different. So overall, the goal with eating and wellness is to eat in a way that makes you feel good. So you should try different things out, and you can try these different diets if you want to, You could also just stick to whole foods that are real with no processing and all that for most of the time. At the end of the day, it is up to you. It is your body, so you decide what you want to feed it. And, at the end of the day, you have one body, so always take care of it. And just kind of don't go with the crowd. Go with what feels good to you and what makes you feel good. Embrace being flexible. Let go of perfectionism. Go with the flow a little bit too and listen to what your body is feeling. Focus on nourishment. Eat what makes you happy. Eat what makes you good. Focus on whole foods. Now you can sprinkle in some other types of foods too, if that makes you happy as well, but all in like a balance. I think being balanced is basically my main point in this video. You can't be over here, and it's unhealthy to be over here. Somewhere in the middle is the best place to be, and everyone's is different as to where they fall. But that's the best part because it's unique to you. So let go of what everyone else is doing, let go of what's trendy on social media, and just kind of follow what feels good to you. So I hope you enjoy this video. I hope it relates to what you are going through as well, because I've definitely felt this way. I've personally been too, I guess, perfectionistic in the field of like foods, like food items and like ingredients, like reading every single ingredient and being like, oh no, it has citric acid, I can't have it. Like, we live in a modern world and there's a lot going on, so it's definitely hard to perfect. You cannot be perfect. So it's about what works for you, and I'm still trying to figure out what works best for me. I think we all are, and it's this continuing process. So, have some flexibility. Don't be so harsh on yourself. And also, please comment down below what area of wellness that you feel like you've been too perfectionistic or had unrealistic standards for yourself. I would love to, check it out and see what you guys think. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!